Okay, we have talked about clockwise. Okay, we talked about the rotation going clockwise. Now we're going to talk about counterclockwise. And that, if you're looking at a clock, it goes the opposite way of the hands. So we're going to start from the original point. Okay, and we are going to move counterclockwise 90 degrees. That means we're going to go from one axis to the other 90 degrees. Okay, notice that your point is at -5, +2. Okay, 90 degrees, -5, +2. And that's counterclockwise. If you notice, that is the same place that it's rotated 270 degrees clockwise. And again, I am going to take my pencil, and I can also draw a line from here to my origin, and then from the original point to the origin, and it will form a 90-degree angle. So as you can see, if I go to the origin and I draw a line from the origin to my new point, it is a 90-degree angle. Okay, and that's counterclockwise. Now if you go back to your original F, and we are going to rotate it counterclockwise, again that's to the left, 180 degrees, so that's 90, another 90 would be 180. Okay, that's counterclockwise. That means you're moving it to the left. That would be the same thing as moving it clockwise 180 degrees. Okay, your point should end up and your F should end up at the same place. Okay, now we're back to our original spot, our original point, and this time we're going to move counterclockwise 270 degrees. So that's 90, 180, and 270. And you should notice that that would be at the same point that is 90 degrees clockwise. Okay? So now we're going to talk about the rules down at the bottom of the page in your table, right down here. Oops. Okay, so looking at the rule for if you moved 90 degrees clockwise, or if it was 270 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, we're going to look to see what happened to the X and to the Y. If you look at what happened to the X and the Y, originally it was at 2 and 5. It looks like the Y became the X, so I'm going to put Y here, and the X became the Y, and it became the opposite, so I'm going to put a negative sign in front of there because that means the opposite of what it was. Okay, now looking at the rule for your 180 degrees clockwise or 180 degrees counterclockwise, it looks like our X and our Y, the numbers stayed the same. They only became the opposite. So your X stayed a 2 but became the opposite. So, and I'll use the wrong color. So I'm going to put -X, comma, -Y. Because the X and the Y stay the same, they just became the opposite of what they were. Then looking at counterclockwise, which is up here, 90 degrees and clockwise 270 degrees, it looks like again the y became the x and the x became the y, only this time your y became the opposite. So I'm going to put negative y, and then your x stayed the same. Okay? And then on the 360 degrees, that's going all the way around. Either way, clockwise or counterclockwise, your x and your y stay the same. Because it's like on the Olympics, they go all the way around to where they started from. Okay? Last thing I want you to add to this page is that a rotation creates congruent figures, meaning the same exact size and shape, it's just in a new location. Make sure you write that down on your paper. Okay, on the next page in your interactive notebook, you should see triangle JKL. I want you to rotate it counterclockwise 90 degrees. Remember that counterclockwise is in the opposite direction that a clock hands turn. Make sure that you write the rule down and you write the new coordinates down, the original coordinates, and you also graph your new figure on your graph paper. Okay, the triangle ABC, you see that you're going to rotate 180 degrees. You need to make sure to actually rotate it on the graph, and it is clockwise, meaning you're going in the direction that the hands do of a clock. Okay, 180 degrees, and you're going to write the original coordinates of A, B, and C, and then you're going to write the coordinates of A prime, B prime, and C prime after you rotate it. And then make sure you write the rule. Okay, the last graph that you have is triangle QRS. I need you to tell me how many degrees that it is rotated. So you're going to tell me the degrees it's rotated right there. And you're going to write the rule. I've given you the original points of the original QRS. You're going to tell me the new coordinates of Q prime, R prime, and S prime. And then you're going to tell me the rule. Make sure you remember to write the rule.